Counsel approached the bench.
You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any win. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
Pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Wins the game at the buzzer!
You can't handle the truth.
All rise. Here comes the judge.
Order in the court. Welcome back. A long-awaited return of the best part of your sports law week, which is hanging with us here on Bench Points with Conlan Farrell, brought to you by Conduct Detrimental, your leader in sports law coverage. 2-week hiatus, but we're back at it on this episode, and joining me is Dennis Lopez, a 3L at Stetson University College of Law, and then Tarun Sharma, a recent graduate out there in Minnesota. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and we're going to have some fun, break down some hot button issues in sports law. But anything to say for yourselves before we begin? I always like to have Dennis Lopez. He's a newcomer, Tarun, part of the Conduct family for a while now, does a great job with the site's newsletter. But Dennis Lopez, he made his debut all the way from Tampa, Florida, just about a month or so ago when we had the fantastic meet and greet in New York City, and he wowed us there. So I was like, we got to get this guy here on the show on Bench Points. But Dennis, glad to have you on, man.
I appreciate having me, Colin. I just want to say go Bolts. Got a big series in front of us, Stanley Cup. Sorry, New York fans, but
yeah, that's not really the best way to start off there. You were at actually the entire viewing function was the Rangers Penguins game early in that first series win for the Rangers playoff run. But look, they're young. The kid line will be back and better. Tampa is in their prime, so if they need to get another cup now, it's got to be right this year. So, and then Tarun out there, recent graduate. Tarun, congratulations. Now, are we studying for the bar? Is that the next step? I'm host a show with all lawyers, but now I need to know like where my legal prowess is.
That's right. Yeah, you nailed it. The bar is at the end
cool.
of July, so preparing right now.
Preparing for that.
Enjoy this year, Dennis.
Yeah, because it's coming. The rain is coming. Yes, it's coming to an end very soon. All right, well, guys, you know what? Let's kick things off then. We'll be ready to go. You know how it is. 45 seconds on the clock to open us, 30-second rebuttals, and just like that, it's over. We make a decision. We award a point. We'll start out here. We'll start out with golf. All right, golf kind of coming front and center for a lot of people this week. Normally not in the main headlines, but Saudi Golf League, Live Golf, is now officially off the ground, had their debut tournament this past weekend. Major PGA Tour players resigning, guys like Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, big names moving, creating quite the stir in the sport of golf and in the headlines like that. Phil Mickelson just had a very dicey press conferences a few hours ago. So let's just start out because we also have the U.S. Open, obviously U.S. Open on the PGA Tour, one of the big majors. So the U.S. Open came out this week and said it would allow, even though the PGA Tour had suspended the players who would move to Live Golf, the U.S. Open, the major itself, doesn't have to abide by the PGA Tour's rules. They have their own set. They're allowing players to compete at the U.S. Open who are on the Live Golf Tour also. So, guys, the first question is, should that be allowed? Should they be able to kind of cross, go from PGA Tour events, play Live Golf Tour events? Should they be able to play majors? What's the deal? Should there be a hard line, or what should the situation be? Dennis, we'll kick it to you, our newcomer first here. 45 seconds. Go ahead, sir.
First and foremost, for the sport of golf, I think allowing these guys playing in the majors is only good for golf and all around. Maybe we'll get a little bad boys. Here come the bad boys from the Saudi Arabia League, LIV, coming over to play in the major. They can steal one from them. Yeah. But going to the legal aspect of it, the PGA has already suspended these players from future PGA Tour events. The majors themselves, the U.S. Open specifically, is its own legal entity. They can have their own rules. They can allow these players if they want to and go against the PGA Tour and the relationship with the PGA Tour. The lawsuit coming between, I think, would be an imminent lawsuit becoming in between LIV and PGA. I think the majors, U.S. Open specifically, staying smart, staying out of it.
Staying out of it. All right, Tarun, you jump in now. 45 to you, bud.
Yeah, let me just start by saying that I understand why all of these golfers are going after the LIV Tour. That's a lot of money. Dustin Johnson, between the signing bonus that he got and the amount that he got for winning 8th place this week in their first tournament, he's already near what he earned last year on tour. So, I can understand people pursuing money, but there are consequences for those decisions. And in this case, the Live League doesn't necessarily have the infrastructure that the PGA Tour can claim. And so the partners, the major tournaments, should stick by the PGA Tour that has been with them all this time and not allow these players to play.
All right. Dennis Lopez, your 30-second argument. Go ahead.
I would just go, having some of the best players in the world not play in these major events, the most watched events across the world in golf. The Live tournament, I don't know about the infrastructure. We haven't seen any of their product yet, but we do know they have the money. They're willing to pay these golfers. They're willing to pay them the top dollar, way more than the PGA is willing to pay. And if the majors are willing to have them, I say let them play.
All right, let him play. Leave some time on the clock, but no worries there. He made his point. Tarun, you got the final 30.
Well, we have seen their product. We got to see their first tournament, which was a little bit choppy in terms of its broadcasting. The viewership dropped by a significant portion, almost half, between day 1 and day 2. And these are not some of the most popular players in the world. You've got Patrick Reed, who is by and large one of the most disliked players on the tour, who's left for the Live Tour. And I think that they need the PGA Tour. And so the majors should stand by the PGA Tour.
All right, guys. And just like that, I said it's fast and furious, as always. Great points. Dennis Lopez, you've just won. Congratulations. Your first ever point on bench points with Conlan Farrell. You get nothing but a nice round of applause real quick. It was the easier side of the argument, I think, to make right there. Look, golf is already kind of a tertiary sport as it is. So majors, like you said, they need to make sure if there's guys out there best that are top 15, 20 in the world, and you're just saying no because the PGA Tour is saying no to, you got to look out for yourself. Protect your own bacon. U.S. Open, that's what they do. The majors, you got to get the most eyeballs. And if Dustin Johnson's going to bring in, another 500,000 people to the table to watch him play, you might as well do it and have him in the field to compete. So Dennis Lopez up 1-0 going into round number 2. All right, guys, well done. Round 1 in the books there. Dennis Lopez making his debut, winning the first hand here on bench points with Conlan Farrell, always presented by Conduct Detrimental. All right, guys. Well, you know what? Every week, it's like sports law. There may not be a huge headline each week, but we come up with something. We want to give the content out there to our very dedicated audience. But this saga of Deshaun Watson, each week you peel back another layer of the onion, and it stinks even worse.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And it's just been honestly, for the NFL's sake, just a humongous rain cloud for months now, years. It's been well over a year. So let's just get right into it. Now, coming out this week, another wrinkle, another layer to this onion. The Houston Texans supposedly now being named by Busby, the lawyer attorney for all these women who are going after Deshaun Watson in the civil lawsuits, now being a 24th woman named. Just insane. We hear from the New York Post that over 17 months, Deshaun Watson had contacted 66 masseuses. To me, that isn't a normal thing to do. That isn't normal behavior, but let's the courts decide what is and what isn't. But we just know we got to break this stuff down because now the Texans are being named by Busby and his guys and his group representing the women here. So do the Texans, who basically allegedly had Watson offer a non-disclosure agreement for these masseuses that he was looking to get massages from, and that do they somehow facilitate Deshaun Watson's actions here? Again, it's very gray area, which we're just coming out and hearing this stuff now, but I don't know. I set the line here and over under because we always like to get a betting angle to it. Over under 500,000, the amount that Houston is going to be fined in their involvement in the Deshaun Watson saga. Dennis Lopez, why don't you start us off here? You won round 1. Go ahead.
Colin, I'm going to have to take the under here, under $5,000 or $500,000. I'm going to say that NFL probably will not bring down any punishment on the Texans since there is no precedent going before this that would give the NFL the position to take this. I think this is something that's going to be handled inside civil court. All the individual plaintiffs will have to go after the Texans for the claim that they're going to bring on, facilitating Deshaun Watson's behavior. We don't know the evidence behind it, how much the Texans knew yet. We don't know if they knew what exactly was going on. All that would probably come out in discovery in the civil actions. And then the NFL will probably have a better decision to decide if they're going to. But right now, with the information we have, I'll take the under.
All right, under it is. Tarun, Sharma. Dennis doesn't think they're going to get handed down any sort of punishment. I mean, what are your thoughts there? 45 seconds, Tarun.
Yeah, I'm not going to necessarily differentiate between the information that we have now or the information that we might have in the future. I think at some point the Texans will be punished by the NFL. What we have here, this Jenny Vrentis article that came out in the New York Times, really excellent piece that I really encourage everyone who's interested in this topic to read. We have clear activity on behalf of the Texans that allowed these alleged sexual misconduct to happen. You have the NDA, the room at the Houstonian, and what this amounts to, you mentioned it, Conlan, this is a PR nightmare for the league that has been going on for more than a year now.
Yep.
And so will there be a loss of draft picks, a fine, something so that future teams do not do this? I think that it's entirely possible.
All right. So you're going to take it over then, I assume, with that, the way you state your argument there. And
That's right, yeah.
We'll see. I mean, again, like you said, take the over. All right, Dennis, defend the no punishment for the Texans.
I mean, this is already a PR nightmare in itself for the NFL. This has been a PR nightmare for over a year. Deshaun Watson isn't even on the Texans anymore. He's on the Browns. This is still something that's lingering over the NFL that is bringing bad media attention to the NFL. Do they want to fine the team that he used to be on and not the team that he's on now for this alleged behavior that the team might have had a part in? Or is an individual person doing all of this? I think more information needs to come out. Take under.
All right, take the under. Tarun, sell me on the over.
Yeah, well, I think it was the team that he was on at the time that has taken these actions. The NDA that was provided by the head of security, the room at the Houstonian where some of these alleged activities were to have occurred. I think that you look back at some of the major fines that the NFL has handed down. New Orleans for Bountygate, $500,000, 2 second-round picks. New England, $250K for Spygate. They lost their first-round pick. Washington just got this $10 million fine. Why are these fines given out? So that future teams do not engage in the same activity. I think we could see that here.
Tarun, just his hair over, but I'll allow it. He's a recent graduate. He's preparing for the bar. You know what? It's fine. We'll stop right there. You know what, guys? Honestly, this was I was thinking when we phrased this question in prep, I was like, I could go either way on this one because for Houston's standpoint, I feel like they were already punished when they had to. I know he wasn't on the commissioner's exempt list. He could have played last year, but they were in a position where they didn't feel comfortable putting number 4 out there on the field for him. Their star quarterback, he wanted out prior to all these allegations coming out in this. However, I'm going to side with Tarun here. The NFL is an extremely delicate position. If this nightmare, this comes out, their response to this, they are in the delicate eyes of a lot of viewers who could go either way in the NFL. If they come down even the slightest bit where it feels like it's a little just a slap on the wrist and they don't try to nail, whoever, cover their own ass and hit every single person who even knew what Deshaun Watson had the slightest inkling of what might be going on here, then I think that's going to be a bad look on Goodell in the league, who's already bungled so many things in the past. I think you take this long to investigate something, you better nail everybody that's involved. So for that matter and that matter alone, I think the Texans do, especially now that they've been named in a lawsuit with Busby, I do think they get fined or have to forfeit draft picks. So Tarun, Sharma, round 2, evening the score, 1 apiece. All right, 1-1 going in to round number 3 here. Honestly, this topic is another one. Like I said, Deshaun Watson has given us a lot. We've gone to that well often. And now unruly fans have been a great topic of discussion because they do stupid things. And now we get to talk about it because now they're booked and fingerprinted and all that good stuff dealing with Johnny Law. So now I'm sure this video you may well have seen made its round on Twitter. This was a scene leaving the concourse of Madison Square Garden after the Tampa Bay Lightning had defeated the Rangers. What was that? Game 5 that was? Because they closed out in game 6, correct?
Yeah.
So this was game 5 at MSG.
You don't know what's up!
And you see there a real just disturbing scene leaving Madison Square Garden. This is a full 2-minute video. You can skip ahead a little here. Obviously, a lot of people, the medical attention did not arrive overly quickly. The security wasn't around, but now it does come out that the man was found and then arrested. He actually hit another Ranger fan. He was a Ranger fan. The gentleman he struck initially was a Lightning fan. He was a 29-year-old man from Staten Island. Shocker there. Those are the high society folks, I thought. No, he was a 29-year-old man from Staten Island, and he was hit with 2 counts of disorderly conduct, 2 counts of assault, and the real kicker, and what he's probably going to be upset about for the rest of his life the most, Madison Square Garden banning him for life. We're going to start this. This is going to be our third and final topic. It's kind of merged in with contempt of court here because this idiot certainly should be held in contempt, and he will be. He'll be in court for that matter very soon. But guys, what's the solution here? What needs to change for these idiots just to stop acting like this, for causing safety concerns for the 95% of fans that don't act like this? And then, just unfortunately using foul language and stuff like that. Do we have a rule? Do we have something that can be basically put in place that would deter this kind of behavior? Tarun, you start us here at 45.
Yeah, well, over the last several years, I think we've seen an uptick in the number of unruly fans, and it's getting to the point where, obviously, one thing that you mentioned, it's setting a terrible example for young kids, and we're seeing this at every level. It's not just professional sports; we're seeing it in Little League, where people don't even want to umpire anymore because they're getting harassed. I think that something has to be done. Something has to combat these displays of violence, these displays of bigotry, racism. And in some other leagues I've seen overseas that they make the teams liable for the conduct of their fans. And I think that's one possibility that American sports leagues could undertake.
Dennis, counter.
Even though I'm a Bolts fan, I do think the MSG organization did a pretty good job banning this man from life, never allowed back in for any event, like you said. That's, as a sports fan, that hurts. That hurts like close to home. However, this was a different kind of an event. It was outside the Ranger Stadium, or just as of leaving the Ranger Stadium. I think individuals need to be held to their actions criminally, like this man was. This guy's going to regret this for the rest of his life, this stupid action. To hold our sports teams accountable for actions of the fans, are we going to talk about taking away alcohol during games? How far is this going to go? So, in my opinion, I think the individual that commits these actions needs to be held accountable. Should more cops and more security be around? Maybe.
All right, Tarun, give us 30 seconds around us.
Yeah, so I don't even mean specifically for this incident. I think that this is just the latest, but we have known for a long time that players or individuals that act out like this do get banned for life. And yet I was at the ball game the other day, and some moron young kid ran on the field. So it's obviously not deterring people generally from doing this. So I think that there has to be some other incentive for the teams to step in and police their own fans.
Dennis, 30 final seconds for you, sir, on your debut on Bench Points.
Besides banning the individual from never coming back to the stadium again, I don't know how really teams can prevent these fans from doing this. If they bought a ticket to the event, they're legally allowed to go, and they do something wrong there, and they're held for their criminal actions. This is a criminal action. The team, what else can they do besides banning them for life? Fining them also thousands of dollars in civil court? I mean, seems like a long road, long stretch. I think the criminal justice system has this taken care of.
And that rounds us out on this. Guys, great heated debate here. Tarun Sharma, though, taking home the gold again here. Tarun, well done. I just think, Dennis, you make a good point. Listen, but it hasn't been enough. And Tarun, that's what you say. You see these morons, which is exactly what they are. I'm wearing a Yankees jersey, the best record in baseball, and even our fans can't keep it together. Having issues back with the Guardians just a month or so ago. So another step needs to be taken. Maybe by somehow you punish them, punish the franchise. Maybe these fans are less inclined to act like a moron because they feel like they're part of the team in some stupid, crazy way. But who knows? But Tarun Sharma, you are tonight's winner. Tarun, go off with your bad self.
Oh, yeah. Well, something that I've been watching a little bit more of than I have in previous years is the College World Series. So they've got the Super Regionals going on right now. The last game is going on as we speak. And so it's had some great stories. Tennessee, which has been a wagon all year, I think they only lost 7 games, ended up losing in their super regional that they were hosting to Notre Dame. So they finished the year at 57-9, and they won't go to Omaha to play for the national championship. I just think that it's been really interesting, and the coverage has been really good on ESPN. So I would encourage everyone, check it out. The last, I think, 12 teams are going to play in Omaha, and should be a really exciting end to the season.
Well, I will give you that because you are tonight's winner, but I was boycotting the College World Series initially at first because Rutgers finished second in the Big Ten this year, 44-15, the best record in program history, got snubbed. They got the old RU screw as it was, but I will, for Tarun, for you, certainly. Let's tune in. College World Series, great baseball, but as always, we wrap things up here. Bench Points with Conlan Farrell, brought to you by Conduct Detrimental, your leader in sports law coverage. Thanks so much, guys. Unfortunately, the best part of your week just ended, but as always, we will be back next week.